Put my chick inside some Louis and some Valentino. Put my bro inside some Gucci and some Moschino. They want my money like it's a casino.
Alright, what's good guys? It's Poku Banks, baby. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. Now in today's video, we'll be talking about getting your first credit card. Now, a lot of people like to think of credit cards as something completely different to debit cards. You are right in one sense, but in reality, I use this debit card, I use this credit card just like a debit card, okay? I'm gonna explain exactly why you should be getting your first credit card and how and what you should expect for getting your first credit card. Now to begin with, don't be scared of credit cards, okay? You may be 18 years old, maybe new to this whole world of finance. Don't be scared of them, okay? People may have told you back in the past, oh, debt is bad, don't get into debt, credit cards are for the devils. Look, if you can make use of debt correctly, it's a double-edged sword, okay? So if you make use of it correctly, then you prosper financially. But there's also the other side where you can worsen off. It all depends on how you use debt and how you manage it. So again, make sure you watch the whole video to the end to make sure you gather in all the gems. Now to begin with, let me just convince you guys for why you may need a credit card and the benefits for it. Now one of the biggest benefits that I like of credit cards is, to begin with, Section 75. Now Section 75 is essentially that you are eligible for a refund from between £100 to £30,000 if the retailer decides to scam you, false advertise, or not complete their side of the deal in whatever purchase you're doing. So let's say I was going to buy a phone, an iPhone for example, and it wasn't delivered, and I've gone through them and they weren't trying to give me a refund. I can now call up my bank provider or my credit card provider, so in this case it could be Aqua or Tesco Bank, and say, look, these lot, they're not giving me a refund. I bought a phone off them, they were supposed to deliver it to me, but they didn't. I will get a refund. Why? Because my credit card provider is also jointly liable for this purchase. So essentially, they'll step in and make sure you get that refund. And that's what Section 75 can do. So whenever I'm purchasing off a dodgy looking website or I'm not too sure about it, I'll purchase it with my credit card because why? I've got that protection. With the debit card, however, they have to do some sort of chargebacks and go through all sorts of bank disputes, and it's just long, okay? I'm telling you that for free. I've been through it, it's long. But with a credit card, it's a lot more simpler, straight to the point, you get your refunds. Yes, it can take, maybe a few weeks for them to look into it, depending on the value and your reasoning. But again, that is also not an excuse to take advantage of this and lie. That's fraud, you go to jail, that's illegal. But, that's another benefit for these credit cards, Section 75. If you want more information, do Google it. There'll be a lot of information online. Now, obviously, the next benefit of having a credit card and why you should get a credit card is simply to build your credit score. One of the components of building your credit score, one thing that these lenders look at is the mix of credit that you have. So, can you manage a phone bill? Can you manage a loan? Can you manage a mortgage? Can you manage a credit card? Can you manage all these different types of credit? Now, if you have different types of credit, it shows to the lender that you are highly sophisticated in terms of your finances and you can manage it correctly. And also another factor, credit history. So, for example, you get your credit card at 18, which is what I did. This now starts your credit history. You've now owned this credit card for so and so years. Now, just one word of advice, one piece of advice. When it comes to credit cards, in my opinion, personally, do not close your old credit cards. Why? Because of credit history. Now, if you open a card in 2015 and then in 2021, for some reason, you don't use the card anymore, don't close it. Why? Because what lenders do, they find out the average age of all your credit cards and all your loans and whatnot. So 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, I do the average, that's 6 years. Now, if you close your credit card that's 6 years old, then this can potentially lower your credit history and therefore lower your credit score. Because guys, the way these lenders see it, someone that's been dealing with credit since 1999 compared to someone that's been dealing with it in 2015, the one that's been dealing with it since 1999 has more experience, they've been through less problems, and therefore they're more trustworthy, and therefore their credit score goes up. So again, having a credit card will make sense for your credit score. And my bad you man, I had to go away, get a trim for the video to make sure I look sharp. Remember, your appearance is what people first see of you, so make sure you look sharp. But okay, let's get on with the video. Another benefit of having a credit card is simply for cash flow, extra breathing space. So let's say, for example, you get paid on the 15th, but tickets for a Meek Mill concert come out on the 10th, and it's Meek Mill. So they're gonna sell out within the first hour, maybe the first 10 minutes. So you need to buy it, but you have no money in your bank account and you're waiting for your payday on the 15th. What you can do is that you can pay with a credit card on the 10th, and then you have between 3 to 6 weeks to pay it back. depending on your statement date and your due date, which is normally on average around a month from when you've paid for whatever purchase, but usually between 3 to 6 weeks. This means you can manage your money effectively, and then you can buy things that you couldn't be able to afford to buy because of certain circumstances. Now, also you can use the credit cards for emergencies, but personally I don't recommend that. This is why I advise you guys have emergency funds, 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. So any expenses you have, you can buy it, spend it, sort it out straight away. No need to rely on debt to do so. Now guys, you might have noticed that I haven't mentioned as the benefits using credit cards as a way to spread out the cost of purchases. Yes, you can do this, but then you incur interest. And this is why I don't advise this, because again, we are using credit cards like debit cards. We're not paying interest on any of our purchases. And that's a funny thing, because a lot of people try to get onto me because one of my credit cards with Enquires is around 39% APR for the year. Now, yes, that's very high, but I don't pay interest. I don't use a credit card like the average person uses a credit card. I use it like a debit card. I use it to build my credit score. I use it to manage my cash flow. I use it for all other benefits. I don't use it to buy it and then pay off in 18 months to pay all this. No, I don't do that. I have money myself. Like, I don't go into debt. Nah, we don't do that around here, okay? I will not allow any of you guys to do that around here. It's not allowed, like, that's dead. No. But now, let's move on to the requirements and what you need to apply to your first credit card. Now, what I'm about to mention are gonna maximize. They're gonna maximize your chances of getting your first credit card. So, firstly, number one, just be 18. I haven't heard of anyone being 17 having a credit card. Maybe in America, you could be added as an authorized user on your parents' credit card, but in the UK, I haven't really heard of that. If that is a thing, do let me know down below. But in the UK, 18 years old is the age, then you'll be allowed all sorts of credit. Number two, being on electoral register. Now, electoral register is simply a register which has all your details, your name, your address, your age, all little things about you, and it allows you to vote in, certain elections, like, for prime minister elections, referendums. So, for example, Brexit, for example, you can have that choice on that, or if you want to vote for your certain party, all sorts. Now, the reason why this increases your chances is because, number one, like I said, the electoral register has all your details, your name, where you live, all these little details. So, let's say you get a credit card now, and you go into debt. The lender, if they know that you're on the electoral register, they know where to find you. They know, okay, cool, he's in debt, but it's cool. Let's go on the electoral register and find out where he lives to get our money back. Now, imagine you're a criminal, you're a legal criminal, and you have a credit card, and you get into debt. You're just gonna run away. You can't find them because they're not on any electoral register. They deal with everything in cash. You can't find them. That's why they tend to have low credit scores. If you're on the electoral register, this means you can be found, you're out there. You know what I'm saying? Any lenders can find you if they need to speak to you. So being on the electoral register increases your chances. Furthermore, I do believe, everyone should be on the electoral register anyway. I don't see why you don't want to take control of your future and vote in these elections, because again, these taxes ain't no joke. Also, another tip, be employed. Again, they're more likely to, accept someone that's employed getting guaranteed income every month than someone that's not employed, okay? If you're not employed and you're using a credit card, where are they expecting you to pay this off from? But if you have income, you have a guaranteed income coming on a payday every single month, for the first of every month, then they'll be like, okay, cool. He can spend this much on the credit card and he'll pay it off from this source. They can match it up. But without any source, it's like, cool. Imagine your friend asks you for £500 and he has no source of income. You know he does not make any money. He's just a student, he makes no money. The chances of you lending him them £500 is unlikely, because why? How would he pay you back? What's he gonna spend on? Like, you don't know. So again, relate it to your own self. Think of them as yourself, and they're trying to lend your friend, which is you. Think of it like that. Also, live in the UK. If you live in another country, trying to apply for a credit card from abroad is a little bit hard, because trying to get in contact with you is very hard, especially if you're in Africa. Like, any letters I send out to you in Africa, it won't even get to you probably more time. Now, in order for you to maximize your chances of getting a credit card or to get approved for a credit card, what you need to do is you need to start with a credit builder card. And that's what I did. That's why I got my Aqua card, that's why I got my Tesco bank card, all sorts. And as you know, just from the name itself, a credit builder card, this is essentially a card that allows people with low credit or no credit and allows them to build their score. So more time, if you're 18, you probably have little to no credit anyway, unless you might have a mobile contract or whatnot. But again, with these credit cards, it allows you to build your credit, because they usually accept people with low to no credit scores, and it allows them to build their credit scores. The reason they do so is because they charge you guys a lot of interest. Like I said, my Aqua card is like 39% or 33%. It's something crazy. It's very, very high. But again, like I said, we are smart individuals. We are financially savvy. We don't pay interest around here, okay? You know, if you are paying interest, make sure you're making a profit on top of that interest, okay? If you're not making a profit, don't do it. Just no. But guys, don't think this is the end of your credit building journey, you know? This is just a stepping stone. Yes, you gotta start off somewhere, start off small. But as time goes on, look, my next credit card will probably be an Amex, American Express, with a nice interest rate and some great reward points, but we'll get onto that later. Now, the first credit card that I got was a Tesco Club Card credit card. Now, this was a no-brainer for me. You know, firstly, I shop at Tesco quite a lot anyway, so I can use the credit card plus a club card in conjunction with each other. So I'm making savings on my groceries and whatnot. And what I used my Tesco credit card for was only for food. So eating out, groceries, takeaway, all sorts. So literally, whatever food I wanted to buy, I buy it on a credit card, pay it off at the end of every single month. That way I can just manage my spending levels when it comes to my food. And guys, don't be shocked and don't think, when I first get my credit card, I have a mad credit limit of like £2,000. Firstly, the highest you can get on your first application is 1.2K, but mine was £250, £250. You start off small. Every few months, they allow you to increase your credit limit, which I advise you to do so, unless you're not financially disciplined. If you know yourself, you're not good with money, and you feel like if you have a higher credit limit, you may use it irresponsibly, understand it yourself, or I applaud you for understanding that and knowing that about yourself, being self-aware. If you do know that about yourself, then you can decline certain credit limit increases. But if you're like me, you're very, very financially savvy, you know what you're doing with your money, you know how you're spending it, and you aren't, making defaults or any missed payments, then yeah, take every single credit limit increase, because number one, it increases your total credit limit. So then therefore, this also can decrease your credit utilization. Now, financial experts, they recommend that your credit utilization is around 30%. Credit utilization is how much credit you're using of your available credit limit. So if you have a £1,000 credit limit across all of your cards and you're using £300, then your credit utilization, how much you're using, is 30%. That's great. If you've got available £1,000 and you're using £900 of it, then you're using 9%. This, how it looks to credit lenders, it looks like you're a little bit desperate. It looks like you need the cash. Like, it looks a little bit bad on your side. And this can also lower your credit score, and then, they may not accept you for certain loans. Now, in terms of finding credit builder cards, make sure to check out websites like USwitch, Totally Money, and money.co.uk. Most websites nowadays allow you to check your pre-eligibility without checking your credit score. If you do get rejected when applying to your credit card, do not fear. This even happened to me when I applied for my first credit card. I applied for Tandem, if you guys know about that. I think it closed down. And after getting rejected from Tandem, 2 months later, I then applied to Tesco after fixing my credit profile. So if this happens to you, make sure you follow the steps that I said earlier to maximize your chances of being accepted. Anyways, guys, last piece of wisdom that I can give to you guys. Number one, avoid cash withdrawals, please. For cash withdrawals, not only is this looked badly upon the lenders, they charge the highest amount of interest, so please, just don't do it. Trust me, if you're ever in the need for cash, there are other better options. Number two, make sure you pay on time with direct debit. It's the easiest and most stress-free way. On my first month of having my credit card, I forgot to pay on the day. Luckily, I remembered and I paid the next day, and it didn't count as a missed payment, but direct debit, please. Number three, just stay within the credit limit. Don't go too crazy. And number four, simply just keep track of your spending, man. Just because you have a credit card, don't mean you can spend all of it. It's not your money, by the way, it's the bank's. But yeah, man, that's the video done. Let me know about your journey towards wealth and building your credit. So your first credit card, or what credit card you're on now, or what credit card you want to get. But yeah, man, you already know, it's Poku Banks, baby.